I thought we would do something a little bit different tonight in honor of Ariana's hairstyle in the beginning of Vanderpump Rules, Season 11, Episode 2. I thought, let me try that hairstyle for myself. She did this. I think she had this clipped or whatever. So there we go. She has more hair than I do. See, thought we would listen to Dateline while I get ready. Some of you guys asked me about my red that I like to wear so much. I have a few, but tonight I'm going to show you one of them and how I did it. You asked on last week's video, so I'm going to share it with you today. So let's listen to Ariana on Dateline promoting Chicago, which, by the way, just got I guess top box office or something. They said on Watch What Happens Live, so good for her. I have a lot of insight into tonight's show I can't wait to share. Oh my God, there's been a lot of gossip and tea spilleth this week.
She's the name on everybody's lips. He ain't no chic. That's no great physique. And Lord knows he ain't got the smarts.
Became like really good friends.
I don't give a about your gal. Known as Sandoval, it became the affair that was heard around the world.
Tom Sandoval and Ariana Madix have broken up.
Our office is in free fall on this.
ET has confirmed the longtime loves are done.
With all eyes on Ariana, she turned lemons into lemonade, launching major brand deals.
Thank you for choosing Raising Cane's, where our chicken is pickin'.
I had Raising Cane's. It was not good. Just saying.
Even a VIP
sauce was good.
To last year's White House Correspondents' Dinner.
I mean, you're everywhere. What do you say to the naysayers out there, the haters out there saying it's too much? She's capitalizing on this horrible thing. She's oversaturated.
They can kick rocks. They don't know what they're talking about. They very much don't know anything about my life, my career, my training, my preparation for moments like this. Going out there and doing a good job and working hard, isn't mine.
I've never experienced someone who gets cheated on and suddenly she becomes God.
We have a new season starting on your show. Are you ready for people to dive back into that world?
I mean, ready or not, they're coming.
Now, she's taking on a new role, embodying a character who becomes her own media sensation in Chicago.
But now look! Roxy rocks Chicago!
How will you make Roxy Hart your own?
You're going to get to see me being a lot of different things. Roxy's very sexy, but she turns on a dime and she'll get real angry with you real quick.
Jeez.
She never gives up. She never gives up.
And in case you're wondering, Lala and Sheena Shay went to opening night to support Ariana. Here they are. Now let's do a gossip dump on season 11, episode 2. You're going to love it. So in tonight's episode, Tom comes home and his assistant Anne is helping be the go-between between himself and Ariana Madix, and it's not easy to do. By the way, Anne quit being Tom's assistant. This was something that she said. She has a podcast now about being assistants. She said, when Raquel was in her mental health treatment facility, they were corresponding via letters. Amanda Lifford shared. Tom Sandoval told Rachel, send them to my house. My assistant will get it. Anne wasn't happy about being involved in the drama, explaining my response to that is I don't work on Saturday. I'm your girl Friday, but I don't work on Saturday. That's the end of that. She also said that she cared greatly for Ariana Madix and she couldn't believe that Tom Sandoval did this to Ariana. It made it really difficult to work for him because she had social interaction with him and wasn't just the assistant. And she was with them for years, so it was really hard for her to deal with the whole situation in the end. And so that's one of the reasons she quit. Here's some more info about Anne, whether you want it or not. I'm going to give it to you. She basically was an assistant to another celebrity before Tom, and she was a transcriber for reality TV footage, a production assistant, and an actor. All right. And I think she started working for Tom Sandoval in 2020. The big dispute this evening starts off with Tom Sandoval wanting to have his birthday party at his house, the one that he's living with Ariana Madix. Both their names are on the property, and Ariana does not want this birthday party to happen there. She doesn't want the mess. She doesn't want his friends there. She just doesn't want it. And he starts off by inviting her through his assistant, Anne, and then he offers to lower the party time to end at midnight. He offers to get her a really fancy hotel, all of which doesn't really appeal to Ariana. She finally gives in on his request for a midnight ending and lets him do it. But there was a lot of people that got all up in arms on this. You know, shouldn't Tom have a right to have a birthday in his own house since it's his house too? And he tried to buy her out. Ariana's feeling about this, of course, is that Tom Sandoval was the one who destroyed their lives and their beautiful existence together in their house. And so he doesn't get to keep the beautiful life. And she's the one who gets pushed out when he's the one who nuked it. And Lala tries to be a devil's advocate and says, listen, it is his house. I mean, really, you should let him do it. Just maybe ask him to be respectful about it. And a lot of the fans really kind of took that position too. They were sort of like, it's his house. He should have a right to have a birthday there if he wants to. And so they didn't really get Ariana on this one. I actually do understand where Ariana's coming from. And there is such a thing as just wanting to be vindictive when a man betrays you at the level that Tom Sandoval betrayed her. And I get it. And she's like, I'll call the cops on that birthday and ruin it. And I get that too. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I get that. Now I want to just stop and say, imagine that this guy, Patrick, who is the supervising producer of Vanderpump Rules, knows that your boyfriend for so many years is cheating on you with another cast member and doesn't tell you. Imagine how that would make you feel if you were Ariana. Now, just so you know, Rachel Leviss believes that the producers, including Patrick McDonald, knew that the cheating was happening and that there were a lot of clues that Rachel Leviss and Tom Sandoval were flirting and touchy-feely and making out with each other. And so Rachel thinks that the producers knew the whole time. Just saying. You guys know why Rachel Leviss called her show Rachel Goes Rogue, right? It's because of this. Look, the title came from a cast member's attempt to control me. This person actually used the words, quote, "The last thing we need you to do right now is to go rogue," while I was at an inpatient treatment facility, in reference to me coming back to do the show. It symbolizes breaking free from coercive control and toxic relationships. That can only come from two people. One is Lisa Vanderpump and two is Tom Sandoval. If it was Tom Sandoval, you can see why the women in his life would want to yank control from him. It's so obvious. If it came from Lisa Vanderpump, well, I guess we can add her to the narcissist list. Have you guys heard about the gossip that James Kennedy allegedly headbutt Ally Lewber after the MTV Awards, and somehow Teddy Mellencamp and Tamra Judge saw it, found out about it or something, and was going to spill the tea? And then I don't know if that happened or it didn't happen, but it was definitely going around. And then Ally Lewber was supposed to go on Sheena Shay's show and say it wasn't true, but I don't know what happened about that. Have you guys heard this rumor? What do you think about this, especially following Kristen Doute's, stuff from years ago? It's kind of wild. Now, Ally's saying it didn't happen, but I mean, I don't know if Ally would admit it happened if it did anyway. You know what I mean?
I do believe what she has said about James. I know I've seen him be a violent person. So I have no doubt that what she's saying is true. I hope that one day it will come to light and there will be justice.
So this is what Kristen had to say about what Rachel Leviss just said.
I have received lots of DMs, text messages, and all that good stuff regarding the Bethany and Rachel interview. Bethany has not reached out to me. However, I will say Rachel is not lying in the small clip that I heard, but she's telling some truths.
Just a reminder there, just a reminder. So after we get over the hurdle of whether or not Tom should have his birthday party at the house, which by the way he does, we go to Pump for the closing night, and Lisa Vanderpump is very sad. I went to Pump with Lisa. It was a great restaurant. She's closing the place. She says that the rent's gotten too expensive and it's not really supporting itself anymore, and Ken wants to retire. Although it doesn't sound like that based on all the things she's been doing and all these other locations in France and Lake Tahoe, isn't it Lake Tahoe, and Paris, Vegas. I mean, they're busier than ever. There was a lawsuit that the landlord filed against Lisa Vanderpump back when this all happened. I'll just share quickly some of that with you. See, this is from the WeHo Times. Ken Todd, back in August of 2023, had a lawsuit filed against him for $1 million for breaching his rental contract. And then I think Ken tried to countersue the landlord. I don't know where it sits now. Maybe they settled, but remember this? So she forgot to mention this in the episode. I know Lisa wouldn't mind me telling you she likes when people keep it real. So then we see Tom Sandoval and Tom Schwartz meeting up, and Tom Schwartz is upset with Tom Sandoval because he feels that he abandoned the business, Schwartz and Sandy, where they put so much money in when things went bad with Scandival. He took off, he toured, he didn't look back, he didn't try to help the restaurant, nothing. He just left. And I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that Greg, one of the main funders of the restaurant, hates Tom Sandoval and also, banned him from the restaurant, but also banned filming in the restaurant. So that was a big thing. They weren't allowed to film in Schwartz and Sandy. They quickly make up because, frankly, I don't think they were that estranged in the first place. They make up, and that is that. Somewhere in all this, Tom Sandoval admits to the cameras that he is still in love with Rachel Leviss and wishes he was with her. Which, of course, is a big FU to Ariana Madix, who had to watch this episode this week before it aired. So then we see Sheena Shay go into the studio to get a song ready for Emo Night in Los Angeles, which is a big party you can go to. It's organized. The girls had done a DJ set there at one of the parties, and they're going to do it again. So she wants to do a good as gold version of the song, but emo. And so she goes there with Brock Davies and does it. And out of this, we sort of get the feeling things aren't right with Sheena Shay's mental health. Then we see Sheena Shay having a friend of hers over that she's known a long time, another actress, and she trusts her to take care of her baby. And Brock Davies is relieved because he's like, Sheena has not been herself for a very long time. She's been constantly worrying about everything. Our relationship struggling. We can't get time alone because she won't leave the baby by herself. And the mom is trying to help, but the mom hurt herself because, Sheena Shay is really close to her mother and she helps Sheena all the time. I think she's actually was the nanny of the baby. And now Sheena realizes she has to hire someone. So she finally finds somebody she's comfortable enough to let stay with her baby. And that happens. And Brock's relieved and looks like we got a babysitter. Brock is not very supportive in the beginning, but in the end, it seemed like a conversation that needed to happen. And for those of you who are wondering, postpartum OCD is a real thing and it's awful. So I hope Sheena gets better real soon. So then we jump to James's house. Tom Schwartz is on his way over there to hang out with James and Ally. Ally is a psychic, so she's going to do a birth chart reading on Tom. Tom discovers that, he's exactly aligned with his birth chart, which I guess makes sense. And Ally's really sweet, as she always is. And James is erratic like he always is. Anyway, Tom Sandoval invites James to his birthday party while Tom Schwartz is over. Tom says, I'm going to go. James is like, I don't think I should go, because of course James is still reeling from the fact that Tom Sandoval not only cheated on Ariana Madix in such a horrific way, but also dated Rachel Leviss after him without him knowing and not being honest with him about it. And just to remind you guys, it was only in season 9 that James Kennedy proposed to Rachel Leviss. That was her name at the time. So he's obviously very hurt. Now, there's also rumors that Peter Madrigal, the manager who sometimes shows up on the show spread, that maybe Tom Sandoval was actually seeing Rachel Leviss towards the end of James Kennedy's relationship with her when they called off the engagement. And that might have been the reason that she had the strength to go forward with calling off the engagement. That's what Peter said. So imagine how extra pissed James is knowing that information, which the general public watching the show doesn't know, which is that maybe Tom Sandoval was the reason that his whole relationship with Rachel Leviss unraveled. So James responds with, I might be there, but I can only go for an hour. Now, the next thing we see is Ally and James heading over to Tom Sandoval's house for his birthday, which he's having at his house. Ariana's at the emo party doing whatever she's doing at that event when we see James arrive at Tom Sandoval. And James notices that none of Tom Sandoval's, like, quote unquote, real friends are there. The people that are there are like his bandmates, his band manager, Tom Schwartz, although we don't see too much out of Tom yet in this episode. And we see some other people that I saw gossiping about Scandival, mainly on Ariana's behalf, oddly, at Tom Sandoval's birthday party in the background, one of which tries to talk to James and he like shoots him down like he's a gnat because he's not on the show. And I guess he felt like he was trying to be. So James gets annoyed with Tom Sandoval because he asked to speak with him one-on-one for like the 20 minutes he's going to be at the birthday. And Tom doesn't come over. Meanwhile, Ally Lewber's in the car because she doesn't want to betray Ariana by going in. But James knows that and Tom doesn't. So that's another reason James wants to get out of there. So he sits down finally with Tom Sandoval and he basically asks Tom, do you want to apologize for me for what you did with Rachel Leviss? So what may shock people is that he doesn't just say, yeah, I'm sorry. But then it occurred to me, what if Rachel Leviss told Tom Sandoval in their relationship that James physically assaulted her at some point? And so no way Tom Sandoval is ever apologizing to James Kennedy for fooling around with Rachel Leviss even at the end of their relationship, because maybe he knows something really bad happened between Rachel Leviss and James Kennedy. Now that's a sidebar. I just wanted to see what you guys thought of that. However, that's not said, and I've heard that that can't be brought up ever on the show, by the way, like somehow James is protected. But what he does bring up is something he is allowed to bring up. And Tom says, remember what you did to me with Kristen Doute, and brings up Kristen Doute. But I think that scares James for two perspectives, because remember, Kristen Doute, as I showed you earlier in this video, got physically abused by James Kennedy. She described it in her book, and it was him. So could it be that that was a little sly wink to James Kennedy, like, watch it, buddy, because you don't want me to go there with Kristen Doute and Rachel Leviss and what you did to them? Just saying. So remember the movie Clash of the Titans? This is like the Clash of the Narcissists. All right, so on that note, I'm going to jump. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. I don't have the Vanderpump audience, generally speaking, so it might get a little boost on YouTube, and then some people might discover my channel. So I'd appreciate it. All right, you guys, I can't wait to read your comments. I will get into them tomorrow morning.